is the Doublet Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
Good morning, my lovely people. Just gone at 32 minutes past 9 here, Trickstar Radio. We're back inside the building once again. A very jam-packed morning. Massive shouts out to C-Levs for performing the first ever Tricky 32. For now, though, we're jumping into another phone interview, and this is one I've been looking forward to. It was originally scheduled for Monday, as I said before, but I thought I'd be sensible and move it back a few days, just in case the madness of Monday was the madness of Monday. This morning, we're having a conversation with one of the kind of leading lights in modern UKG, someone who, for me, definitely has a unique sound and definitely brings something fresh to the table each and every time. Man like Gemi joins us this morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm great, mate. I'm great. It's good to get you on the line. It's really, really good to have a conversation. We've obviously had a little bit of a warm-up before going live. But in general, how have things been for you? Obviously, it's been a bit of a difficult week. I know you're a bit of a big England fan.
Yeah, it's we you know what, we take it in strides. We look onto the World Cup. And I genuinely don't think I've been that angry at a TV screen in a long while. But you know what? We move and everything's fine. I hope. God, I hope.
I mean, obviously, kind of looking through your sort of last year is one of the main reasons we're here today. I wanted to have a bit of a catch-up. Obviously, you're announcing new music at the moment. But before that, I'd quite like to look back over what you've been working on, because you came on Brekkie, I think it was last year. How have things been since then, sort of music-wise? Because I know you had a lot of stuff kind of bubbling away at that time.
It's just been sort of mad, I guess. Like, just the sheer volume of stuff that's basically happened since then, like the amount of support, obviously, like after, obviously, like winning the Kiwi Cup was mental, and then just the buckets of support that I've had. It's just been a really fun journey. I feel like it's slightly bad to say, but I feel like there's some of this kind of like the lockdown phase, like the pandemic and stuff, has actually annoyingly boosted me and helped me out loads, because obviously now I've got the support from all of these guys that I would have been looking up to even a year ago. It's mad.
I think the interesting thing with that is you're definitely not alone in that matter. I'm definitely in a similar position myself, and I think artists, especially if anything, the entire genre of UKG, I feel, has kind of been not necessarily boosted, but I feel people have become a lot more aware of it and become a lot more aware of the community aspect of it, because of everything that's happened.
Oh, definitely. I think it has had that boot, and I'm really excited to see what the club scenes are saying when they come back, because I just feel like there's going to be so much more garage about. And it has to do with just the amount that it's grown over the whole lockdown period. So it'd be quite cool to see what happens.
Definitely, man. And I think obviously with this show, I'm in a very lucky position. I get to talk to some of the sort of leading heads in garage. We had Smokey on recently. We had Tough Culture on recently. We've got Smasher on next week. Some of my favourite artists we get to have a conversation with on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, and from a fan's perspective, I definitely see you in that sort of similar kind of leading the way bracket in regards to the sounds you're making. How would you say your sounds developed personally over lockdown? What are you doing a little bit differently than before?
I think I've kind of sunk into the sound that I want to be making a lot more. I think if you look back at the 3 Gemi tapes, Gemi tapes Volume 1, I think some of those tunes were on there before I'd even decided what I wanted to do with the Gemi project. And by the time you get to Gemi tapes Volume 3, I think, to be fair, through lockdown and stuff, I was listening to so much more old school stuff, and trying to figure out the ins and outs of kind of how to make that kind of garage. And I feel like now that I've got this nice little blend where it feels like you've got those old school influences, but then obviously I'm still taking inspiration from other areas, and especially from previous projects. You can still hear a bit of that, I guess, uniqueness coming through with it all.
100%, and I think with yourself as well, you have such a, I want to say kind of colourful sound, there's a real kind of bubbly element to it. In regards to actually putting tunes together, would you say your actual process has changed much over the last year, or are you still kind of doing the same thing, just coming out with different results?
I think in a slight way, just because obviously I've been banging on about it, especially on my TikTok a load, and on my Instagram actually, but I've been using trackers and stuff recently to program my drums, which I remember having a conversation a year ago, or maybe just under a year ago, with High Rise, who's absolutely amazing. And we were talking about like renoise and trackers and stuff like that, and obviously like that's stuff that they'd use like back in the day and stuff, especially for like jungle and whatnot. But like just making that stuff, it's just got such a nice sound to it that I've started using that a lot more than like developing the ideas like then in Ableton like normally how I do stuff. So apart from that though, I think everything has just been down to the ideas really. Because the execution's been pretty much the same.
Interesting. I mean, this is the thing. Garage at the moment is such a vibrant genre. There are so many people, not necessarily jumping on a bandwagon, but wanting to get involved in the sound because it is a summer sound, especially, and we are moving into summer. It's really interesting to watch. Something I did want to kind of touch on that sort of summer level is this remix that we opened up with today. Feels like summer. Obviously, Childish Gambino on the original. You dropped it as a free download over on SoundCloud. Talk to me about the response for this one because we've been loving it here at Tricky.
It's I've been it kind of I feel like it's slightly because I basically made it when we kind of like the start of the heat wave, and I was sat down and I remember like a couple of years ago I used to, when I was living back at my parents', I worked for the cinema nearby, and I basically got asked to make the playlist for like when like what's going through the speakers and stuff, which was absolutely bloody brilliant. Which so it just meant I could just throw all of these like tunes, but one of the tunes I threw on there was Feels Like Summer, and I essentially remember then sitting down and just having like, because I hadn't listened to the tune for ages. I remember sitting down and it was like, yeah, the heat wave or whatever, and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to listen to this Childish Gambino tune because it's the right vibe for it. And I was sat there for about 2 seconds and went, you know what? Why don't I just do a cheeky booty real quick, like, and then so it was very like it was a very quick little process in putting it up, and I sort of didn't really think too much about it. I just thought like, oh, I haven't really put anything up for a while, like that'd be quite nice. But no, it's been good to see that people have been vibing with it. Yeah, it's I think someone, I don't know, I sort of like embarrassingly slightly forgot about it, and then saw that like people were still rating it, like I've seen it in a couple mixes and whatnot, and I was sort of like, I remember seeing something on Instagram the other day like, oh, okay, sweet, like people are actually rating this, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been great to play down here. Like obviously I'm a massive fan of the original tune as well. That has always been like a kind of go-to if I'm looking for a tune to play to put me into a good mood. That's always been one. But then to kind of have this kind of remix version of it, I know for a fact that when I'm back in the dances and I'm playing shows again, this is going to be one of the ones that you have that sort of remix folder of tunes that you know people are going to like, but you need to play them in the right sort of circumstances. A few J Hus ones in there. I've got like garage remixes of J Hus tunes. Same, and this is going right into that. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of DJs around the country doing a similar thing. However, we have new music to discuss. We've got a new single announced yesterday from yourself, which is good timing. I would turn around and say we decided to get you on because of that, but that isn't what happened. You booked on from a little while ago. But I want to talk about this new single, and the single is called Talk. So talk to me about Talk.
So it's really, I felt like I just wanted, because I had properly released something in ages, so it's coming out, streaming services everywhere on the 22nd of this month. And I just thought, I'm getting a bit excited about the whole Gemi and Friends season. And obviously, like, we've had to rearrange the date, and so I thought, what a better way to kind of like celebrate the lead up to that than dropping a new tune, because I haven't really properly released stuff in a while. So it's actually quite good. I literally, fun fact, I probably only finished that tune about 3 days ago.
Oh wow.
And I literally just thought, oh, you know what, screw it, like, let's have a bit of fun. We've got clubs coming back soon. Might as well try and hype it up a little bit by releasing something. But yeah, that's how it sort of came about.
Interesting, man. And obviously you do have this big Gemi and Friends event around the corner. We're going to dive a bit more into the sort of roots of it and obviously why it's been put together and obviously the sort of trials and tribulations that have gone with that. But just so people are aware, in regards to the event itself, what's the lineup currently looking like? Because I know you put a bit of a post out yesterday.
Yes, so we've got the lineup. So we've got myself, MPH.
Always solid. Always solid.
That man is amazing. We've got Soul Lecter.
Another one.
We got Kitson, Fat Controller, and then my boys Glimgy Hideout, Corey and Morgan Hislop as well. So it's a very loaded lineup right now, which I'm very excited about.
Definitely, man. I mean, I look at that lineup and go, that's a Beatport top 10 release. You know, that's like near enough everyone on there are people that are really kind of doing their thing in garage, doing their unique thing in garage as well. Obviously, MPH is on fire right now with releases. Soul Lecture's just had the album. Kitson's had a few bits out recently as well. Fat Controller's always putting bits out. Just in general, that lineup just kind of it just very much feels like garage now, you know.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of my things with it all, and especially, I'm so excited for because me and MPH, we've got this tune which we've just been keeping like top secret until the night, and so I just can't wait now. Like, it's just the whole feeling of clubs being back, and it's such a nice feeling just to know that like everything's going to go slightly back to normal. Like,
How much have you missed it? How much have you missed not being in those dances?
Oh, it's been mental because I think so I like moving to London in like September 2019 from like the home counties, quote unquote. Like that was sort of like my first true experience of kind of like going to like clubs and going to raves and things like that, and just to have it all just so suddenly just like taken away from you. And I think that's sort of what I really like to do. And I think just these these months where you just haven't really been able to do anything, like there's not a lot you can do in these times to kind of like replicate that feeling that you get in a club. So I'm definitely really proper excited to have everything back.
I can feel it in your voice, mate. You're bouncing off the walls.
Yeah. Absolutely buzzing, mate.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into this track now, and this is definitely one of the ones we're hoping to hear in the dances as soon as they reopen. It goes by the name of Talk, and this one, I believe you said it's out on the 22nd of this month?
22nd, yes.
The 22nd, so about a week away today then. Really, really excited to get into this one. It's just coming up to 9:45 here on Trickstar Radio. We're going to jump back into a bit more conversation in a few minutes, looking at the future for Gemi, what he's got on the way, and maybe even get into a bit of a cheeky exclusive a little bit later on as well. As always, my friends, if you haven't already, do make sure you're downloading the Trickstar Radio app. It is available via the App Store and Google Play. You can listen back to every single interview we do if you do miss them, and of course, you can lock in live via that as well. So keep it locked, people. We're live in the building till 10. It's Breakfast with KXVU here on the Big Bad Trickstar Radio.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you them morning flavors on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.